Welcome to another edition of Laugh Your Way to the Top. I'm your host, Austin Fain. We are sponsored by Perfect Steel Solutions because, it's we own it, and so we are just going to be sponsored until someone else wants to sponsor us. If you want to sponsor, if you're like a jacket maker, you have tools or something like that, you want to sell us or whatever, promote. We'll wear your clothes. We'll do whatever. We're thirsty for sponsorship. Today I have a new sales rep. Started with us this year. He has been off and on in the game, done some different stuff growing up, and he's generally just a cool guy to talk to. And we're just going to feel it out today and see if he's got anything interesting today. Will Benson, welcome to Laugh Your Way to the Top.
Thank you.
Is this a big deal for you or what?
Kinda.
Is this big?
Well, this is my first podcast ever.
Ever?
So be gentle.
it loses its sexiness. When you see me set all this stuff up, it loses a little bit of its sexiness.
A little
you
bit.
think it's like, oh my gosh, we just got a whole studio. Nah, it's just a dirty old factory, and we're just doing stuff over here.
I mean, I also like hot dogs, but I don't want to see how they're made.
Yeah.
It keeps the mystery.
That's fair.
I'm good.
I'm going to tell all the guests they can't show up until after they're designated on time. But how you been, bud?
Pretty good. I was just studying earlier, trying to
This dude came with
hone the craft.
Notes today. This will be the first podcast we do with some general direction. I see at least a page and a half. So this will probably be somewhat linear, unlike every single podcast that I've done. We'll see if it works. If it works out good, we'll keep on doing it. If it doesn't work out good, I'll never have Will on the show again. So,
It sounds fair to me.
well, how old are you, bud?
36.
36. You're only 1 year older than me?
Yep.
Nice, dude. And you've been with us now for what, a couple months? 3 months, 4 months?
3-4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, feels about right.
And how you liking it, bud?
I love it.
Feels good to be back in the industry?
It does. So, I mean, even from the first time sitting down with you, because my perspective on selling, you can sell anything. I mean, roofs are arbitrary. You're not reinventing the wheel. Same thing with cars, home exterior, bathrooms, pretty much anything you can sell. But the culture of the company is kind of what drew me in talking to you.
Yeah, did you see an elaborate Indeed posting? Indeed posting like the job posting? How did you find out about us?
Oh,
You remember?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Sometimes I write real elaborate, not professional Indeed post so that people kind of get what they're walking into, and it's not like, here at Perfect Steel Solutions, we cherish blah, 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 blah. I'm like, guys, I need 3 people right now. If you know how to cook, if you know how to clean, if you like these certain things, we got people that play Pokemon cards. We got people that only like to work out. We got biker gang people. We got whatever you want. Sure. There's a niche here. And if you fit in any of that stuff and you want to have a good time and not be rode hard and put away wet with your current job, be here. And people are like, you got to meet that dude. Whoever wrote that, we got to meet that dude.
Oh, see, that I didn't get any of that post. It was a very generic, hey, looking for a good sales job, professional, whatever. And okay, I can do roofs. I figured sales is sales. You show up, you're personable. I remember, mind you, I would have been 17 at the time at, I think it was Bobix, the golf shooting range off Bluffton.
Dude, is there no more Bobix probably right now?
I'm not sure. But if that was the Bobix, but it's the shooting range right next to an ice cream stand, right on Bluffton Road.
Oh, okay,
right
by
across,
Wayndale.
Right across from the apartment. And they asked, why do you want to work here? And I mean, I'm 17. I'm looking for a part-time job as a cashier at a golf station. So I just write this elaborate off the wall. I was talking about Tiger Woods and Magic, just something where they would read it and being like, I don't know.
I don't want to tell this kid no. He probably has downs.
I was 12 years old and dreamed at working as a cashier at a golf shop. What do you want me to say?
No one does that.
You know what I mean?
No one does that.
So I just pretty much went off the wall thinking if they're asking ridiculous questions, they'll get one back.
Yeah.
And they did. They did not call me back.
It's hard to when I think about my son growing up and him asking me, they're like, we're going through that stage where they're asking kids what do you want to be? Grow up a doctor, lawyer, fireman, pilot. And my dad's sells metal roofs, and I'm like, he's gonna ask me why did you do that instead of astronaut? And I'll be like, well, I mean, they don't make spacesuits this big, and sometimes you just fall into it. And this is how I kind of fell into it. And sure, like you just kind of find things that you're good at. What'd you end up getting was your first job?
My very first job?
Yeah. Was that what you were going to go for your first job?
No, it would have been the second. It was seasonal help at Eddie Bauer in Jefferson Point, and I was...
Dude, we had Eddie Bauer back then when you had your first job?
I think I was 16.
What?
But it was just the seasonal help. So I knew it wasn't a forever thing. It was like, hey, you get 90 days until the rush season's over. Because working in retail, I think what they say about 85% of a year's revenue comes within a holiday season. So everyone upstaffs and everyone, So,
and then what was your second job after that?
I think Rave Motion Pictures. That was...
Dude, you worked at a movie theater?
It was the best.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that seemed like a real crew.
Yeah, because it was easy. You got all the movies you'd want to watch.
Yeah.
It paid for stuff. And I was still in high school at the time, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah, and you got to stay
I'm
up
living
late.
for free at my dad's house.
Yeah, you got to stay up late. That was one of the things, like, when my friends would work at the movie theater, they're like, when you're like 16, 17, you have to get like permission note and you can work until like 1 o'clock in the morning when the movies get out and stuff. And I'm like, that's dope. Joe, what was your favorite thing about working at the movie theater? Like, what was your favorite job there? You're like mixing the popcorn. I love that shit.
I actually never worked behind the cashier or the ticket booth.
Oh, okay.
I was the...
You made sure that place was clean?
I would come in after the movie was done. Get the popcorn.
Is it really as bad as people say it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly. But
everything's sticky.
There is a bucket where we'd put excess cash because cash falls out of people's pockets all the time.
Sense.
And if no one claims it within 72 hours, you get to keep it. And you always think you might get an extra $50 that week. I mean, we put it in there, and if they claim it or if it's a wallet and they do come back, I mean, what do you do with an ID? You try to track them down, I guess. It's, but...
I never thought about all the money being left over. I imagine what change being thrown.
A lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just the obvious, like phones, wallets, just keys.
And then eventually, did you end up doing college or doing anything like that?
I did.
And where'd you go to college at?
IPF, well, I started out at Ivy Tech, so I technically don't even know if I graduated high school. But I started taking college classes at Ivy Tech in high school. So then when I applied to go to IPFW, they didn't question it because I already had college credits.
Interesting.
So
you didn't walk, I assume?
No.
Okay.
But the thing is, for the metric
system...
Doing
background check on Will after this podcast.
For the metric system they have for high school, for how many like credits you earn to graduate, I would have technically been in the core 40.
Yeah.
But I was upper point percentile, but... I mean, I hated high school. I was kicked out several times. So once I was done and they're like, you're out of here, I never needed it. And I got a good enough job where I was like, they didn't ask to see the diploma.
What was the good enough job?
Window World.
Window World. Selling windows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was everything exterior except roofs. So.
You did that for a while, I think, right?
Yeah, I was there 6, 7 years maybe. And it was kind of like, between what I would have made, because I was taking accounting classes, what I would have made as an accountant versus what I was making there, I was like, I'd probably take a pay cut.
Yeah, it's so hard to go get a real job.
It's crazy.
It's so hard.
So but I've always felt the same way about even trade jobs. I mean, if you're a master electrician or master plumber, master anything, I mean, you probably do very well and you don't need a doctorate degree to make six figures.
There's all those TikToks now where it shows like the people that go to doctor school, they go to like carpentry or like plumbing or electrician or whatever and get their journeymans and it shows like the catch up, and if they invest, they get out much earlier with much higher income. And if they invest that, by the time the doctor will never catch up, Mm-hmm. And it was like cool to see that, And we're interviewing for roofers right now. It's cold, but it's a great job. So if you ever thought about getting into roofing, you can message up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What's all the other ones? TikTok. Any of those things you can apply. And if you want to work with your hands and get on top of roofs and learn how to do building and carpentry and that sort of stuff, give us a call. But I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to do a thing. You're a goofy dude, and I thought it would probably be like a good episode to do with you because you're pretty chill. The the last few. I don't know who we've had last, but just getting back in the perfect steel. I had some non-perfect steel people come through here.
Fake construction.
I had Phase Construction. I had Sabron here a couple times. He's a good dude. He's about to have a baby. But yeah, so
he seemed nice. Well, because I interviewed him before, but I mean, the reason I was gung-ho, and we pretty much left, when I left there thinking this wasn't the job for me, it's just the culture. It didn't, sometimes things click and it doesn't feel right. Sometimes you just know a man's intuition. I just...
Yeah, I mean, the turnover rate is much lower here than anywhere else. And I think that has a lot to do with culture. And then people always think they have the best culture wherever you go, but it's really if like the core, 30 to 40% never go anywhere. It's like that's when you have a good culture and stuff. But I'm really curious of what's in your fucking notepad.
Oh, just generic Bush League questions.
Are they questions about like sales stuff? Is that pretty much what they're all based around?
Well, the company,
okay.
I'll just start. How did this company get started?
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a very generic.
It's a very good one, but I will give you the.
Has it been hammered to death?
We've been fucking getting it.
Okay,
but it basically happened that I was in general construction selling barges for my father. Mm-hmm. He fired me, and I had to go out and get like a different job because he fired me, and I thought I was going to do that forever. Went to the car lot, hated that. Left there, found this kind of work through a mutual friend who'd been doing it. Mutual friend introduced me, did very well for the first 3 months, made absolutely tons of money. Didn't have a family or anything at the time, so I could work those crazy hours that we work. And, I was very successful at that. After I turned the 6-7 month, it was going in a way where I would start getting calls from customers that we weren't doing the jobs, that it seemed like we were robbing people, bait and switching people, those kind of things. On the back end stuff, I was just a front end guy.
It hurts, and I mean, I've been there.
Oh,
and I'm a very sensitive person.
I'm soft too.
Those concerns when customers come up and you're trying to talk to a manager, boss, whomever about like, okay, this is the person that in the company you need to talk to, and they're kind of giving you
the runaround.
Giving you the runaround, and you're like, because you're telling a customer something, and when I tell them, I'm giving them my wholehearted truth that what I'm telling them is the truth, that we're not doing this and we're not doing it that way, and then you find out we are, and it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Yeah, I felt gotten at that point, so I knew that's not where I wanted to go. There was also drugs and stuff swirling around the office place, and I was like, I had just either gotten engaged or gonna be married, and I mean, it was not a good environment to do that. So I told the general manager there that I was gonna quit, and he freaked out, and he called me in, and that was Ryan, and Ryan goes, I gotta quit too, and I was like, he goes, can you run a company? And I was like, I lied and said, yeah. And he goes, well, I'll do all the other stuff. And I go, great. So I found some money, and I did a business plan, did all that stuff, and then pitched it. And I got some people to loan me some money, my dad anyway. And he loaned me some money. We paid him back in 6-7 weeks. And then it just kept getting bigger. And we went, from a $300 a month office to a $900 a month office to now this giant factory. And it just kept on progressing. I never took the foot off the gas, but I never actually pressed that hard either. I was like, if it goes this way, it goes this way.
Sure.
If we sell more gutters, I'll invest more in the gutters. If we sell more in windows, we'll sell more. If we sell more in roofing, we were doing, $3 to $6 million at the time when I decided to look into manufacturing ourselves. We were buying out of Charlotte, Ohio, and then I was like, I wonder if they'll give me like a couple $1 million at the bank. And they were like, yeah. I'm like, that seems like hella risky, but they did. And then the people who sold the machines were super, walking my hand through. I'm sure like big orders, they like that. But ASC people have been fantastic. And then I also had built up quite a friend group, like as far as commercial realtor stuff going. So a guy hooked me up with this building. We bought it all and set it up, and we've just been kind of going ever since. And and so that leads us to here and going into our 7th year of business. And it just, besides this past year, we've been growing 30% a year every single year. We did about 10 million in sales last year. We'll do about 10 million this year. Once again, I don't know if that's mostly due to interest rates or coming up to the holidays, presidential change, economy, getting away from COVID. I don't know what's happening, but it's just a little slower than it usually is. You know, not the same momentum. But
Sure.
yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I've really enjoyed it. You know, I'm only 35, so I have the added benefit of actually telling people I don't know what I'm doing, and so they don't always have to, like, we don't criticize anybody here, and who has the best ideas, we just do that until it doesn't work anymore. So it's been fun. We just had who you guys met on a previous podcast from One Room Group, Tyler Pedersen. He just signed on to be our COO. It was his first week this week, so we'll probably have him on the podcast again. He's going to tighten up the ship, go do some budgetary, some
Sure.
financials, projections, and moreover I thought it was going to be like a CFO. He's going to actually be more like a COO. He's going to run the managers and stuff. I've accrued too many friends in this business. The best sales guys are my best friends. The best managers are my best friends. The best
So you're
scammers
gonna
are my
end up
best
being
friends. And so it's hard to ride those dudes. You know, it's like, how am I going to tell that dude, like, I'm going to fire you if you don't do that? I can't do that. So I got 1 degree of separation from there. Tyler's coming in, cleaning up everybody, putting some reasonable goals on the board and keeping them accountable. It'll be really fun next year to see how far we can reach with a goal of like between 13, 15 million. And maybe get into some commercial stuff. So,
I mean, I don't intrinsically see you being too much of a problem because you seem pretty level-headed. But, you know, being surrounded by yes men is a problem. And no one can see it because everyone tells you yes because you're the boss. I mean, that is a thing.
yeah, it is definitely a thing.
You know.
Luckily, I'm surrounded by the type of people that are more intuitively selfish, not in a bad way, but I've always been a giver. That's who I am. I hate getting presents. I hate doing things for myself. I hate it. It always being better. And so oppositely, there's another people that just like love getting presents and love being surprised, love being catered to, love getting it. And those people have been not yes men because this needs to happen for me because X. I don't care what you want. And like that battle is sometimes good to get where we need to go.
Sure.
Basically, to sum that up, it's like they'll ride the coattails as long as possible, but if they don't like something or if it's too hard or they don't see the benefit in the helping the company succeed, aka their pockets, they won't be on board with me at all. No one said no to giving away the car. The car has not been a very thing. You know, I just tried some stuff. I wish I had a no man around me when they're like, do you want to give away a $200,000 car to get people interested in signing up quotes? And people should have said maybe like give away ATV or something like that or something. Sure. And that didn't work out. But there's been very few things that haven't worked out because they are my friends. They'll work nights, weekends, doing all that stuff. So it's got benefits both ways, I think. But yeah, I don't want to be surrounded by yes men anymore. And Tyler's not we already had to let go of a couple people in the last week or so just because he's like, this is not okay. And I'm like, yeah, I just didn't have the gumption or the data to prove that wasn't what was going to go on.
I guess I haven't even noticed people.
Yeah. Well, you asked me about one of the people, so I mean,
okay.
Like it's that's part of that whole game. I mean, with the accountability comes, you know, Big Brother watching, and then if you're gonna get watched, then you got to perform.
Sure.
It won't hurt your job, Will.
No, I didn't think it would. I mean, gotta get some big sales in. Some sales, because I mean, I've had 5, but I think 4 of them were like credit kills, and it's like
rough. I don't know if those been mostly Ohio. It just seems like we get these pockets of where people can't get to be financially sound. I don't know what's going on with that, but we've had a lot of credit kills at the end of the year, but also like a lot of cash deals, a lot of big cash deals that are crazy. I mean, Zach's working on a $120,000 roof right now.
Ooh, how many squares?
It's like 90 or something like that. It's
like a mansion.
Dude, it's a castle. It looks like the Fresh Prince's Bel Air house.
Okay.
It's got tennis courts, pools, all that stuff. It's a really old, crappy house and the inside, he told me, but like the outside is absolutely gorgeous. Like that blue gray stone with the white like the white cement all the way around. It just looks like a fucking castle. But we're hoping to get that. These people, we came in first at like 115 or something like that. Turns out he was a little bit lower on squares or something like that. We eagle viewed it and it came in over. And we sent them another thing saying like, "Hey, it's going to be X," and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds good." I'm like,
I would probably call Ryan and be like, "I need to double verify some squareage."
Well, that's what he did with
this
me.
is like I would be.
He's like, I'm like, the difference of messing that, it being a really good thing and being a really bad thing, is so close in those big jobs.
Yeah, I get
You'll
that.
get them, buddy.
No, I know. I mean,
you have a good way with people.
With anything, it's about showing up. I feel I would say the last 2 weeks, I've become significantly more comfortable in people's houses.
Yeah.
I'm cracking jokes. Everyone laughs. The first week, it was weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not, we're strangers.
And I mean, I did in-home sales for a while, but I think the problem was I knew the product so well, I did not even think about it. I could riff on any part of the product, and maybe it's like a second language, but it's like if you don't use it, you lose it. You really do. And it's like, it is just getting that ebb and flow. Because really, I mean, they're not buying a roof, they're buying you.
Yeah.
I mean,
when it heats up, you'll, in about the second month, and it'll start to be back to 100%, you'll sell the most you have ever and probably will ever sell. Because you still won't be 100% like super confident in everything. So you'll be working with them and it'll be like, honest. You lose something after you do 2,000 roofing appointments where you are just absolutely know everything on every slide. You know every question they're going to ask. You know the answers to everything. So like, it's not that your heart's not in it, but you can't be authentic enough to be like, you know what? That's a really good question, sir, madam. I've never heard that before. Like, basically, and you go into this tangent, it's not as organic as like,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I never thought about that, but it looks like the studies show, blah, 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 whatever that is.
So for some reason, the thought that always comes to my mind with stuff like that was I did jiu-jitsu for a while, and the guy was showing the class a front choke. And it was like you put your arm around the guy, and I'm doing it, but I wasn't choking him.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Well, what you doing the thing? Why aren't you choking him?" I'm like, "I just don't get it." And he couldn't see what I wasn't not doing because he was doing it because he's done it tens of thousands of times.
Yeah.
He didn't know the micro move. I wasn't leaning back. And it was something so simple that he couldn't even see it. Like even now, if I had to give you a step-by-step breakdown of tying my shoe, it would probably take like 10 minutes. I'd have to think about it. I'd go, okay, this lace, but I could show you in 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just so ingrained, but it's like when
funny.
you have to break it down to somebody that doesn't know it, you don't know what you don't know. And you definitely hit blind spots when you become, let's just call it an expert at whatever it is,
Yeah. So what's the next question?
So how did you hear about the Sherwin-Williams ceramic coating, and when did you know you were like, yes, we need that? Or how did that partnership?
Great story. So it was almost like we didn't have an option. So that was cool. So basically, when me and Ryan were starting this thing, we thought it would be pretty easy to get some of the local manufacturers to spot us some jobs. Like when you're talking about doing a job, even if it's like a $15,000 job, 50 to 70% could be materials. Okay. Depending on what you're marketing, depending on what your sales and everything you got to pay, taxes and everything else, you got to figure out, is it a little stiff?
A little bit.
Let's say water down a little bit. You can. Basically, we thought it was going to be much easier to go into, a manufacturer of metal and go, we're new, we're starting up, how about you give us 2 jobs for free, deliver them, we'll install them. When we get paid, we'll pay you, give us another 2 jobs. Nobody in town was doing it. I think they just get burned a lot by new upstarts that don't work out. I just went today and looked up a company that started about 2 years after us. and they're already out of business. And I was like, I bet that gets tough when you're a manufacturer to spot people jobs. I can't wait till we make metal for other people so I can give back and help people get started in the metal roofing industry. But yeah, so after we exhausted all the options in the area within about 60 miles, seriously, bro, like 60 miles, no one was interested. We found a newer organization in Shiloh, Ohio, that was willing to sit down and talk with us. They didn't promise us anything. They said, come up. And I go, all right, Ryan, you look good. I look good. Let's go back up there and see if we can talk them into something. Walk in. They had a really new facility. They had just started not too long ago. We met them through a manufacturer of the underlay that we were using at the time that they were also using. And so like we wanted to use that underlay. They were using the underlay. They could supply the underlay too. We walked up there and they were doing the same ag panel as everyone else, just the same old barn thing. And then they had an elite panel that they call it. And it had a standing seam profile, still exposed. But then it had this crazy finish on it, and it made it just absolutely like a gorgeous thing. It was like, I mean, I don't even know how you would sell an ag panel next to this thing. I was like, whatever this is, bro, we got to get this stuff. And we ended up talking with them, and they were a little hesitant at first, but we eventually talked to them like, this will work. You know, I'll sign whatever promises or, you know, declarations that we're going to pay you, blah, blah, blah. And they end up giving us our first 2 jobs, and that's how it started. So they delivered them. It was back in the day to where even the point where we had to hand deliver the panels. So like a truck would bring it on a flatbed, and then we'd have to cut the plastic open and take each panel and lay it in the driveway because we didn't have the fancy cranes. They didn't have the fancy cranes.
Sure.
Any of that stuff. So yeah, they gave us 2 jobs. Those went really well. Had my installers come install it. We got paid. They got paid. They kept getting more. And eventually after 6 to 8 weeks, we were just absolutely killing it. Like we were like on top of the world. Nothing could touch us. I paid my dad back, who I loaned the original $20,000 and $25,000 from. And then we were paying cash before it would even leave the factory. And so we had unlimited jobs at that point that we could order, and that made the installation process go much quicker. We were selling, and within 4 days you had a new roof. Like it was, and we just never left that. And it was a good product, and besides an infamous color change that happened in the early days, about a year in, that we've had 0 problems with the Sherwin-Williams brand paint, anything. They've held up their warranty. If something goes bad, they've held up that stuff. It's been really nice to work with a company. They have bought. Do you have those paint cards? The cards that have like the sheet that has all the colors on it?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
They bought all those for us. I mean, to have a partner like that would come in and buy, I mean, those were like $5,000 to get all those down. They're really expensive because those have to be made in a lab. They have to recreate that paint in a lab. And then they have to make those cutouts and then take the paper and put it on the paper. It's like, it's a really high-end thing.
So is that color? Are those colors? Well, there's probably 16 of them, give or take.
Yeah, there's under 20 probably.
But are those specific to us? Like you wouldn't find those? Like that's a specific.
Sherwin-Williams, the only people that sell those. So if you buy coils from Sherwin-Williams, you can't get those colors.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I wish that I had just designer colors, but also the premium for that would be insane. But they will do custom colors. Let's say if we get everything's time and money and imagination, right? So if they wanted to make, you know, those people that get crazy about their cars, they have like a red Corvette that's like this perfect cherry red or whatever. We could technically match their roof absolutely perfect with that color. I have no idea what ungodly amount of money you would need to have SDI and Sherwin-Williams get together and make a color that would be exactly the same, but they'll do it. I've just never run into it before. I would really like somebody to do it, but I've never inquired about that. But they've been really nice to work with, and we've had no reason to switch. Now that's when we started manufacturing our own, that's all we carry. SDI being right down the road with the Sherwin-Williams being the one paint that they use. You know, United Steel is just like family, and I just don't see me going anywhere. And especially we've done, close to 2,000 projects now. To switch and have to have two different stuff, it would just be insane.
Sure.
So I've been really happy with them. Anytime we have like any cracking in the paint or whatever, they diagnose it. If a coil comes in the inner tube, so a coil is a big roll, right? The inner tube is made out of cardboard. If any of those ever collapse, they send a truck out here, and they basically like pump up the tire. Basically, they pump it back up and stuff it full to make sure it works on the machine, the spindle, and they're just really good. And all that stuff is cost free, and they're just been a really nice company to work with.
It doesn't put a bend in the coil if it does.
It
collapse?
will if it sits that. If it sits that way.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. That's like part of the problem is that the heaviness from top to bottom just kind of squashes it. It wants to go pancake, and it's only cardboard. So what really happens is the humidity in the summertime swelters that. Then that wet paper just starts to collapse, and that structure breaks down. And they've just been really on top of it. We get our coils within like 2 or 3 days, most of the time, painted, ready to go. Except for maybe during COVID times, we were on 6 to 12 week lead times. Other than that, they've just been dominating the market, opening up new paint facilities and new foundries and stuff to make more metal, and it's just going to get better as time goes on. They've been really honest with their pricing up front. By the way, if you are thinking about getting a metal roof, I just heard from our rep that it'll be going up about 1% every single month for the next 4 or 5 months. So it may not seem like a lot, but these coils cost anywhere between $50,000 and $90,000, and so it's going to get expensive. So, what's your next one? That's a good question.
Well, because I always tell people that how like really jazzing up the ceramic coating because it has low thermal conductivity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
a lot of different, the Kynar paint, the Sherwin-Williams, there's a few of them. They're all doing good stuff to get that reflectiveness to get out. The main thing you have to worry about is the fading. I would say like there's not a.
So that's not.
As long as you don't go ag panel, if you're going in a premium metal market, you're going to be okay with getting a nice paint, no matter who makes it or what. But the main thing is that paint fade. Because if you've ever had any patio sets or anything that you've set outside all year round.
I think everyone has.
And it just fades and it looks like shit after 10 years. Like, there's no way to circumvent that. Nothing lasts for. If you leave a car outside for that, yet. Well, the closest stuff is that whatever the fake wood, the composite wood stuff for patio furniture. What's that called?
I know what you're talking about. It's crazy expensive.
It's crazy
expensive.
It's like 5x, but it should last forever. But the paint, within 500 shades forever. I mean, it won't fade. Almost you can't tell with the human eye. So if we go and replace a panel 10 years down the road, my biggest worry is like, a tree falls or someone throws a baseball up there or someone backs up into your garage with a box truck or something happens where you need to replace a panel. Mm-hmm. My biggest, worry back in the day was, oh my God, like that's going to be so faded. It won't line up with the rest of the roof. We're going back 5 years now and putting panels in the middle of roofs and no one can tell the difference. I mean, that's pretty spectacular when you think about it. We've all had cars and got a wax job. I'm like, wow, it looks like a brand new car. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine you didn't do that and you put a brand new piece of metal or a brand new car right next to your old car you've driven for 5 years. It looks the exact same. Like, that's pretty impressive as far as paint's concerned. So I've really enjoyed that. That's a lot of burden off me to go, like, we don't have to do full roofs if something gets messed up. That's why, like, a paint change was really disconcerting. They changed 2 colors a little bit. Like, I'm not saying a little bit. A lot of bit as far as colors are concerned.
A lot of bit?
A lot of bit. And they stopped making the old ones. It wasn't like they just had like, hey, we're going to also... They're like, no, we're not making this color anymore. Now it's still the same color, but it looks way different. I had to buy up all the coils around me for a time being because we were still in process of doing jobs. Things, had to get done if a tree fell or whatever, all that stuff. No, I've been really happy with the Sherwin-Williams brand. Sherwin-Williams people are cool. They always try to take me out and go do stuff with me and come take me out to lunch.
Schmooze ya, yeah.
They've been really, really cool. SDI and Sherwin-Williams have been awesome.
That's awesome. Well, because that's one of our, I don't know what you call it, trait from evolution is detecting minor differences in things. So because you say that, if the panel was a different shade off, you would pick it up immediately, and you'd always look at it when you pulled in the driveway. You would. And it's not that it's that big of a deal, but because you look at it every day, if it starts to bother you, every time you pull in, it'll kind of piss you off just a little bit, where you're just like, ugh.
I mean, if you're going to pay anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 for a roof, you want it to be perfect as long as it can possibly, till you forget that it's a thing that you spent money on. And,
of course.
And so, like, I wanted it to be that finished, perfect product all the time, and I just kept thinking about all the stuff. And we still save money away, just if and when something, like bad stuff will happen to your roof. But like, I don't want ever. I try to tell people, like, this will be the last time you see us when we finish putting on the panel. You won't ever have to talk to us again, because it's going to be so solid.
That's actually part of my sales pitch. I was like, the biggest compliment we could receive is you never see us again because it worked perfectly the first time. We don't have to come back out and fix it. And I'm like,
it's perfect. We clean up. We're courteous. You get your awards here in the mail 7 to 14 days after. The final billing, whether it's mailed in a check or you finish up the financing, and you just never have to talk to us anymore. Besides, we might send you a Christmas card or something like that. You never have to talk to us again. You're done with us. Not that used car salesman stuff where, like, constantly be haggling and trying to make it right with you. We just want to write one time and be done. That's the goal every single time. And I think that's a lot of the salespeople hang their hat on that. Like, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it right.
Well, and that was the big part of just the vibe I got was, hey, we'll fix stuff when it goes wrong, because I don't want to name names, but companies in the past.
Yeah, don't name names.
No, didn't do that in the past.
I'm hoping to get those people on the thing, and if we say their names, they're not going to come on. I mean, even our guys mess up. Like, I haven't had Eno on the podcast. He messed up huge the other day, and I can say it because whatever. He messed up huge. He sold 160 foot of gutters, which is a normal amount of gutters.
Sure.
Let's say it was...
But he forgot
$1,500 to $2,000. I don't know how much it was. He forgot all the downspouts.
Yeah.
100 foot. Okay. So there were 7 downspouts and 3 more that were 2-story. So 100 foot of downspouts. 10 foot's a story. That's why we calculate like that. And did I go out to the customer for more money? No. I just did the project we said we were going to do. Now, it was funny when I talked to the customer, or my installers were talking to the customer, like, yeah, he was kind of arrogant and didn't even measure, blah, blah. He's done so many, like I said, like in his sleep, he knows how many feet of gutters, but he didn't walk all around the house. And so he didn't get all the feet of gutters. And, I took a bath on that project, but whatever. I mean, we got it done. They were happy. And, we made a customer for life. But like stuff like that, no other company will do. I asked I have Amish connections, and I asked them the other day, I called one of them. I go, hey, we run into sometimes where a salesman like Will go into a house and he'll sell a 3 to 4 layer tear off. Okay. It'll be on a larger project. And there's always extras with that, right? Tear off is more, we got to get a dumpster. We got to get the equipter out there, all that stuff. We have hauling away fees and dump fees and all that other stuff. And it takes longer. And then what happens is sometimes it might be 5 or 6 layers, just something crazy, which is extremely exorbitant amount more money.
Is that even possible?
It's definitely possible.
Because a layer is, give or take, about 240 pounds per square. So 5 layers. Because, I mean, for most people, that's like, I tell them it's one Silverado. I mean,
parking on top of your house, like, no, 100%.
I didn't realize you could get 5 without rafters making weird noise.
No, they definitely do.
Really?
I mean, it gets sketchy. So what happened was it was 2 more layers. It was like 6 layers. They had a layer of cedar shake and then something else stupid.
Woof.
And then what happened was like our measuring guy goes out there and confirms that it's 4 layers. What happened was they put the layer of, let's say, shingles or whatever, and then they put the cedar shake on top. When they went to go over the cedar shake, they put OSB over that and redecked the entire house. Then they put on 3 or 4 layers in different places. Okay, so now I'm screwed. My guy checked and down to the OSB. It's definitely 3 or 4 layers. Now we've accrued another probably $7,000 between the extra 2 layers, one being thing, and then now we have to redeck because cedar shake. A lot of times it's built on just slot boards or or rafters or however they're doing it, it's not completely decked, right? And so now I'm out $8,000. Now I can't really swallow that, like, and really, like, can't take a bath on something that bad. And so I ask, the people, like, I asked the Amish people, I go, what do you guys do? Like, you ever come in, bid a project, and it doesn't come in anything like it, blah, blah, blah. They're like, we'll just, when we get down to tearing it off of that, and it's that point, we'll tell them we're going to stop or they're going to pay us. And I go, ooh. To me,
that feels like gun to the head tactics.
To me, it just seems, if it's my mom or my grandma, I would think they're hosing, Now there's pictures and stuff to prove all that. I'm like, but they'll just be done. They'll just be like, you can have an open roof or you can pay us to finish the project $8,000 more. And I haven't really figured out how I'm going to handle the situation, to be fair.
Sure.
I just don't know what to do with that. And I really don't. Most of the time I swallow it if it's going to make me lose a couple $1,000s on a job, but, like, I can't lose $5,000-$10,000 on a job. Doing, like, because I got to pay everybody. If I didn't have to pay anybody, it'd be different, but I got to pay all these people, and you take so many L's on so many jobs, and it really hurts. So I'm trying to figure out how to be fair to the customer. If anyone else has any ideas on what would you do if you tore off and then you found some hidden stuff and it was going to cost another $8,000. Customers already in, let's say, $25,000 to $30,000. These aren't exorbitantly rich people or anything like that. They're just regular run-of-the-mill. What would you do? If you have it, just comment on the Facebook, comment on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, any of that stuff. Let me know what you would do. Honestly, I hope this is a clip because I would really like to know what other contractors would do in that situation, because I find it hard to go after the customer and go, hey, we said we were going to do X. Now I can't hold up my end of the bargain, but also you weren't completely honest with how many layers there were up there. So,
well, I mean, so do you think there's a chance they would have known, or maybe that's a customer dependent question? You know what I mean? Just someone
the answer is probably they have no idea, because an average layer is going to be between 5 and 15 years. So when you get up to 6 layers, those people are dead that put on that first roof. Okay, those people are long gone. Maybe the people that put on the second layer are dead too. Like, no one knows. So it's like, yeah, they definitely maybe knew about the last 3 or 4 layers, but they didn't know about what's underneath. No one went down there that far. So I would say no. I mean, I don't know. Maybe every 2 years they put on another layer. I don't really know. But I would say that with 6 layers, the average being between 5 and 15 years they're getting out of every crappy layer, those people are dead.
Sure.
So
it's a fair assumption.
You would say?
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. So, and the average people that live in a house is between 5 and 15 years anyway. So you're only going to put 1 or 2 roofs on. It probably won't change hand much unless it's been a family home for so many years.
But that's why if you switch to a metal roof, you get a lifetime warranty.
Sales.
Uh-oh.
What's your next question, boss?
So why do we not use subcontractors when that's pretty much the industry standard? I mean,
we still keep one subcontractor on call, but we do everything else in-house. Basically, the reason why we do that is overflow. I mean, we can't promise that we're going to do the ebbs and flows of the business. We couldn't promise that we're going to get your roof done this year. If we go out and you guys sell 150 roofs in 1 month, effectively would shut us down for a couple quarters. I mean, like, it would just be done with the building up quality in-house installers would never be able to catch up. So we only give the overflow to the subcontractors. We have 2 crews in-house and 1 out. And so we use in-house installers for a variety of reasons. One, that's where it's going anyway. If you are any kind of worth your weight in the roofing industry as a subcontractor, you should be a roofing company. You get to control your own destiny. You get to take care of your employees a little better. You get to promise what you can. I mean, who knows? I'm doing the right thing, and my subcontractors know I'm doing the right thing. But, if you work for Honest Abe as a subcontractor, or, a bunch of these other franchise businesses that don't have their own roofers, you don't know. They could the salespeople and the management team could be promising way different or way over what they're getting, right? And as a subcontractor, that's not on you. You know, if you are a subcontractor, you should go into business for yourself if you're worth your weight. If you're a good subcontractor, you should go into business for yourself. I've helped people become roofing companies that have been good subcontractors because there's just no reason for, to take away from that industry and stuff. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why they stay subcontractors is because a lot of times they use undocumented labor a lot of time. And that is a very cheap and effective way because they do work really, really, really hard and they're effective. And you just can't W-2 those guys and keep them on if you were own roofing company. You can't carry workman's comp on those guys. You can't have roofing insurance on those guys. They want to know who they are. They don't have social security numbers. And so they stay subcontractors for a real long time. The other reason why you have in-house installers is because you have to get your quality and maintain it to a certain level always. And you can't do that with different entities. The easiest way to explain it is that if you go, all right, Will, I want you to make me a hamburger. I'm going to make a hamburger. We're going to have Sierra make a hamburger. We're going to have Zach Ryan make a hamburger. Okay? But they all got to be perfect. Now, I own the hamburger joint. Mm-hmm. I know exactly how to make my hamburgers the way I want them. Okay? And I tell you guys how I want them, but I don't show you all the time how you want them. And I can't tell you how to do it. They're all your own people.
So it's more of like a quality control.
Exactly. You can't keep that standard going forever. When you get so big, 2,000 roofs, you would not be able to 10 years from now when we're 50,000 roofs in or whatever we're going to do. Sure. We can't maintain that quality unless they are W-2 to our installers, and we're going and checking those people, and we're going to teach those people, train them the way we want to train. When you get it really into it, every corner has to be bent a certain way. Every ridge cap has to meet another ridge cap at a certain way. The screws got to be so perfectly placed, and the way the overlaps are, the way we do pipe boops and all these things, so that way if and when we did have problems in the future, we know exactly where they would be. We don't have to guess like who installed this one. It's us. Our installers did it. And then when you have to do troubleshooting, it's really hard to get people that have already been paid on a project to come back out and fix the house.
100%.
You probably you felt that way after you've done like a bathroom remodel usually or something like that. Very few of these companies ever have in-house installers that do these remodelers, whether you got a sunroom or a bathroom redone or whatever. When you get done with those people's, it's so much harder to get them to come back and do the work because they got paid. They don't want to come back. They've already gotten paid. They don't get paid again for fixing their mistakes. And so it's really hard to get the level of service there. So it's just where it's going. I hope that I don't ever have to lose my subcontractors because they've been really awesome dudes from the beginning. But again, like if I have 5 crews and they don't get any work, they don't get any work, and they're cool with it. If I have 5 crews. So by the middle of the year, this year we'll have 3 full crews, 3 full box trucks, going out, working in-house and stuff like that. So that's just where it's going.
I think I know I could probably call it around. I think I have at least 15 people in my mind floating around that have gotten work done and this is multiple states.
Sure.
Paid the contractor. They got the last check. Hey, we're going to come back and finish the last piece. Oh, I haven't heard from them in 3 weeks. They were really responsive before they got that check. I think almost everyone has some variant of a story like that.
For sure.
Me being somewhat in the industry, I have 15 references, not even from just random people knowing it's gross.
It's gross. It's just, I get it, why they do that, and I get that it's a hustle and they're on to the next job. Why would they want to come and do stuff for free when the next day they could be making $5,000 putting in some toilets and some sinks? It'd be really hard to make time for that. So I get it. But that's the way the industry's going. I think that when the bad times hit too, You know, and subcontractors, they get left behind because, you know, when work slows down, everyone slows down. At least when you have your in-house installers, they're there. You know, you can keep them busy and all that stuff. You can go up and down with it. It's just a way better. They all dress the same. They all show up together. They're all in the logoed vehicles. They have the best tools usually. They're not peeing, pooping in your yard. They're not smoking cigarettes. They're not listening to loud music. They know what we expect because they come back here. They leave from here every day and come back here. And it's been really nice to see the progression of having in-house crews. Now, it's really hard, really, really hard to start in-house crews. It's really, really difficult. We're idiots. Like, we like to talk to people and stuff, and there's a lot of people that can talk to people. But being able to look at a roof, look at the puzzle that we give them of this Lego set of the roofing panels, and being able to unilaterally and uniformly install a roof so perfectly that it looks like it was been there the entire time, again and again without any problems. It's a very hard thing to get a group of guys to do. When they finally get it, it's a beautiful thing. But like I think I was telling you, I lost $300,000 last year.
You mentioned that.
Starting in-house crews. I mean, just, you know, I got to pay them to train. I got to pay them to mess up. I got to pay them to go out there and fix that. I got to go pay them when they're too slow on jobs. And it's just a thing. But now when we go into 3 more years from now, it won't be a thing. They'll save us way more money in the long run, and everything will be way smoother. We'll be able to project a little bit better as well. So in-house crews is the only way to go if you can find somebody to do that. We kind of sell against subcontracting, right? I mean, I think you do. No?
Definitely. Oh, yeah. It's...
And part of that is like that same, like, you know, because there's a lot of Amish people, right? There's a lot of Amish people in our area. I'm not sure what area you live in, but there's a lot of Amish people, and they're basically subcontractors and stuff. And how that works is if you have a problem, they're less likely to answer the phone because there's no real business, right? There's no infrastructure there. There's no office ladies, right?
Sure.
There's no janitors. There's no fucking people making metal. There's nothing. It's just someone who bought metal from Menards, Home Depot, or one of these metal manufacturers and installed it. They wrote you a cash check, and then they're gone. If something goes bad in the middle of the night, these people might not have cell phones, or they might just be underneath the bed. They might not just... If they kill off their cell phone that you have, you have no way to contact them. They don't have a website. They don't have any of that stuff. And so you could save money in the short term by doing a subcontractor route or people that have subcontractors. And I pray that it goes well. And if you don't, you want to go with someone that has in-house crews, that has a full facility and has infrastructure of 75 to 100 people that can service you no matter what happens. Or you're going to be left, you know, holding yourself in the wind. So you don't want to do that.
Well, and that's typically what I tell people at customers' houses, that there's not per se nothing wrong with the subcontractor, but being an in-house W-2 employee is the gold standard.
Right.
And when things do go wrong, if they don't feel like going back out to the house, they don't have to because they don't work for that company. Our employees work for us. You have to go out here because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are our employee, and you know what I mean? And it's a slight shift in quality. And when you get a subcontractor, you don't know their skill level. You don't know, you know what I mean? Kind of like you were talking about making the hamburger. You got 3 different people making 3 different types of hamburgers.
Dude,
we need something consistent.
The hard part, back to the hamburger analogy, the hard part is you might make a better hamburger than me. And the other 2 people might be down. Mine might be worse. But the customer's expecting, if they saw you down the street make that hamburger, the next person might be expecting that same one. But if it's a different subcontracting truth, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. And
so there's no way uniformly you have to go in-house crews at some point. You have to do that. And I like keeping the money in-house anyway. I like having people have company trucks. And I like people... You know, the bond that you get from working with the same people every day and being able to converse with the customers and stuff. I like that part. But you're very right. Back to the hamburger thing. Like, yours might be better. My in-house crew, my other subcontractor crew might not be any worth their salt. But now they're expecting that, and you don't get that every time. Only that one crew is the best crew.
And then the obvious, I not the obvious, but just because I've worked in mostly subcontracting jobs.
Oh, most businesses subcontract, by the way.
Panic taxes,
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen enough contractors make, and mind you, say $200,000 a year, but they're supporting a crew. It's not like he took home $200,000. No, he pays a couple employees under him or whatever, however he does the books. And if you don't put money away for taxes, oh, that's real. Right. And they freak out because it's like, oh, I owe $40,000 in taxes and I have $5,000 in my bank account.
1,000.
Whoa! People panic, and I've seen it more times than not where it's like they don't know what to do because. You know what I mean? It's very. It
happened to me in this business.
Really?
Yeah. So when we first started, I didn't know any better because I'm an idiot. So I put everyone on 1099. Okay, every single person, salespeople, office people, whatever, all 1099. Okay, and I didn't do that for any particular reason. It wasn't to save money. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, everyone else had 1099 employees. I was gonna have 1099 employees. All right, cool. Well, what happened was we were so successful that a lot of these people that made between $50,000 and $100,000, okay, and they got all of it. Meaning, if they made $1,000 that week, they got the entire $1,000. Now, most of you guys at home, when you get $1,000 paid to you, you get about $700 to $800 of those dollars, taxes, FICA, Medicaid, all those things, Social Security, all that stuff gets paid in, county taxes, Indiana state tax, all that kind of stuff. What happened was I had a max exodus after that because
I'm not sure
mass exodus, it was like mass people leaving.
Oh, okay.
Like they're leaving, a mass exit. Oh. And because everyone's run from the IRS, they had spent every dollar they have gotten acting like they were rich.
I know the feeling.
and it was like they had nowhere to turn. They had to go get a different 1099 job so that way they would hide further along. I switched everyone then after the first year, and I'm talking like it was 6 to 8 months or something like that. I switched everyone the following year. Our second year in business, we started with everyone being W-2. We've never changed that.
So do you know the 5-year failure rate of a roofing company?
No.
96%.
Wow.
Yep. I use that in my sales pitch. That's how I know. But I back that with, okay, we're here, we're a cash business, I think pretty much break even as of next year, where we owe no debt to the machines, the trucks, or is that?
I still carry a little bit of stuff. So part of it you learn in business is like you don't pay everything off. I did not know that. I thought you paid everything off all the time. If you pay everything off, then you can't depreciate everything and blah, blah, blah. So...
Well, then for the people I've told that to, I apologize.
Oh, but we're cash-based business.
We are a thriving business.
Besides this building and these machines, cash. We've never borrowed money on coils. We've never borrowed money on cars, on box trucks, on anything, literally anything besides this. And we carry such a small amount. $10 million is way in sales, pales compared to how much debt I keep on the books. And the only reason to do that is to appreciate that. You don't want to pay everything off last year. If I take $2 million to depreciate over 5 years, which is what the building and the machines all cost, you don't want to pay all that off. And then the interest from what you're paying on the loans and things also help, all that stuff. Next year, you can confidently say, after next year, everything will be 100% cash based. We'll have no money owed to anyone because the depreciation time ended. And I'll pay everything.
Well, because specifically what I tell people is I can say this because this is true. I have personally sold windows to people that had a lifetime guarantee on their windows, and I sold them new windows with a new lifetime guarantee. Well, how did that happen? The first company went out of business, and your warranty is useless once it goes out of business. And I'm like, we are a thriving company. We will be here in 30 years. If anything does go wrong with your roof, hey, we will be here to fix it. We will honor the warranty because
let's break that down. Mm-hmm. You worked for a window company before.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys make the windows?
No, they came out of Gratz, Pennsylvania, MI. No.
So what was it? Were you a window company?
Window World.
Were you a window company though?
I sold windows.
Correct. Is that a marketing company or is it a window company?
It was I'm trying to think of how it's called, because it was it'd be very similar to a McDonald's. So you can own a McDonald's or you can be a part of the franchise. You can own a Window World or be a part of the franchise. So I don't really know. I kind of know the differences, but they are different. But they all pull from the same supplier.
They all pull from the same supplier? Yeah.
Am I?
W-2 people, there's hardly any probably there, if any. In that, and they have subcontractor people that only probably work for them the entire time.
The only people that were W-2 there were the office ladies.
That makes sense.
We were subcontractors. The installers were subcontractors. Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone does that. We're not bashing Window World. It's just how it works.
I was. I mean, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, a lot of times those things work out great.
Until taxes came along. Yeah.
And you got screwed. But like a lot of those people, the able to not run that company into the ground can be so quick, because if they're not managed well, there's nothing there holding that company together. If it makes sense to you, when I went to go get $2 million for this operation to go buy this building and buy these machines and do all the upkeep and everything like that, they were so impressed by the numbers that we were doing and the growth that we were having, that there was no real possibility they could ever see, or they wouldn't have given me all of the money.
Sure.
So with one of those companies that basically sell paper, in which I would say a good 60 to 70% are like that. We are part of the absolutely few that make our own stuff, sell our own stuff, install our own stuff. I mean, probably less than 10%, maybe. I don't know.
A rebuttal I need to get around, or at least figure out a better way to say it, because I do tell people that, and I take pride that we do everything in-house. And I probably had about, let's just say 5 people's homes that I was out, and they were like, no, the guy up the road does that as well. And like, how do you tell the people that they don't without telling them you know what I mean? It's like
great.
Telling them the customer they're wrong when they don't know what they're talking about.
Don't ever tell a customer they're wrong.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't ever get us wrong. Be like, that's awesome. We like to partner up with those kind of people. What's their name? Oh, it's that. What's their company name? Okay. You look it up. Okay. 99% of the time, you get an address, you look up the address, and then you go, the imprint of their address is going to be a strip mall. It's going to be a house, someone's actual house, all that. And then be like, do you really think that in this 2,000 square foot house, they're rolling all their own metal? Do you really think that they're making all their own windows inside this duplex, you know? Do you really think in the back of this strip mall that they're really making these gutters and doing whatever? You know, it's like, that's how I would get over it most of the time. You have to lead the horse to the water. I would never attack another company. I go, but just use common sense. Like, hey, how about you go online and see, let's see if we can find one picture of them making their stuff. If you can, maybe it's okay. Maybe they are. I know that people off the top of my head, I know one within 100 miles.
Did I ever show you my B-roll video of there's music to it, and
where you're watching the machines and stuff like that, or
yeah, well, it pretty much just a walk around. It's like a 30-second clip. When I'm given the numbers at the end, I typically just show them this to be like, yeah, this is a big company. We're here. We're not strip mall. We're not 6 guys in a subcontract with 1 truck. Like, this is a massive business with a bunch of employees. Like, hey, we're here. You know what I mean?
The main thing is, if like it really got to that, I'm here until like 8 o'clock at night most nights. So FaceTime me. If you're in a customer's house, like, I don't know if you guys really make the metal or whatever. I'm like, FaceTime the boss right now. Text me like, hey, I'm gonna FaceTime you. Customers want to see you make metal. Cool. I'll throw something on the bender.
Put your shirt on.
Yeah. Put your shirt on. Put out your cigar. Hope you're not doing a podcast right now. And do it. A lot of times when we have, because we do deals for people a lot of times. I'm sure some of the people at home that have gotten a roof from us in the past will be like, we have so much black coil in stock, we have so much burnished slate still in clock, and like, we bought this much. If you want to get on this next truckload, if we want to get on this next delivery,
for sure.
Yep. I can show you right over there. That's exactly how much we have. And it could be spoken for, it could be not spoken for. I can show you exactly how much of that coil is left and exactly what coil that your metal is going to come off of and who's going to make it. So, like, that's how I would handle it. A lot of times, like, I mean, if we just, I kind of want to do it right now just for the sake of argument.
I'm just surprised how fast that hot pink goes, you know.
The hot pink.
People, no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Wish we did hot pink. Let's go, like, I don't know. Let's do, was it Honest Abe? I'm picking on them because, one, they're getting sued right now. I don't think they have money to sue me. So, like, they're bankrupt right now, and so I don't think they're going to go after me. Honest Abe Roofing, Fort Wayne. Okay? They're like, yeah, the guy from Honest Abe, they make all their own stuff too. Okay.
That doesn't make sense because Honest is in the name of the company.
Yeah, it would be. So right now, before I even look it up, me and you know, because we live in Fort Wayne, we know exactly what 841 North Crest Shopping Center.
Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. We know exactly what that is. I don't actually know how to do a copy thing on here, but we can do 841 North Crest Shopping Center. Okay. Wow.
Did I not nail that Best Buy or what?
Yeah, Best Buy. Right there. So I don't know if you guys can see that. They're in a strip mall next to Dick's Sporting Goods, the mall here in town, Aldi's.
That actually used to be the Army Recruiting Center.
Yes, you are right,
See?
I think. Might even,
digging into that mind vault. It's
good for something. Yeah. Do you really think they're making the metal inside of that strip mall right there? About, I would say, maybe less than 2,000 square feet. And do you think that they're making it on this little trailer right here? You know? I don't think so. Right next to the Positive Image where I think they make bras for people that have breast cancer and things. And then core people that do tutoring. I don't think they're making industrial stuff there. I'm going to say. And that's what I've been like, do you think that? Well, that's what he said. They might get it from somewhere. So like, okay, they're not doing that. And then you could do that with a lot of people. So like, I would do like roofing Fort Wayne. And just pick someone, you know, I don't know. Like, you're just picking someone out of the thing. Oh, Perfect Steel, that'd be a good one. I'm picking on my buddy Forever, and I like that dude a lot. He knows that he doesn't make his stuff in-house, so he's going to be cool, and he doesn't lie. But Forever Metal Roofing, let's check them out. They do similar stuff. I think they got into some shingles here recently, things in that. They're on 1911 Production Road. That sounds like it might be a thing. 1911 Production Road, Fort Wayne. It's a strip mall. Okay. That's office space. Okay.
I was in there with, so it was the guy.
My buddy Travis owns it. He's a good dude.
The guy from, he doesn't work there anymore because he moved to Florida. It was the guy, I don't even know what you'd call him. He would be essentially the equivalent of Pedersen,
yeah.
Pedersen. It was Shield Exterior at the time.
Okay.
It would have been like something equivalent to that. He was just kind of like a catch-all. He did a little bit of marketing, just a lot of stuff. And he worked for them, but then he ended up moving to Florida. So obviously he's not working for them in Florida, but Brian Eastman. That's what.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, no. I think that is a legit dude that he had.
No, Brian's a great guy.
Yeah, I think that Travis had nothing but good things to say about him.
I've met Travis once. I didn't know him. I knew Brian more just because me and him both worked at Shield.
Gotcha.
But Brian was a great guy, real smart, real clever. You know, sometimes you meet someone and you're like, man, that's a smart individual. I don't say that about myself.
He's also never said it about me, which is, but whatever.
I am half a meatball.
But no, like, obviously, you don't see any signage saying forever. You don't see any places to put big garage doors to haul in semi-trucks worth of metal. All that stuff, you can make sense to someone and go, do you think that they're making the windows or the stuff there?
Sure.
You know, it's not. That's what I normally do. Like, just play with me. I like to partner up with those people and stuff. If we have good people in there, we're always looking for people that we can recommend if we can't do the job. And so, if you guys would let me, what's the name of that company? And like,
I actually like that. I would probably now that you said it and did that, I would probably do that and be like, look,
really, you don't want to bad talk anyone. It's not like, hey, look how cool I am. I have a big factory.
Correct. But if someone is openly telling you they're doing something they are not, when you know they are not doing it, don't maybe put them on full blast, but at least call it out and be like, hey, no, we are doing this. This is a manufacturing facility. They're manufacturing in that 1,000 square foot with carpet drapes. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I'm gonna say that
calling out their BS.
Only people within 100 miles of us, and I don't know if they 1099 their installers. They probably do. I'd love to have the guy from Steel Masters here, but Steel Masters, and I think they're in Goshen or South Bend or somewhere up there. I forget where in between they lie. But they do make all their own metal, okay, and they install it and they sell it, and they're pretty affordable. And the dude drives a Bugatti, which I think is weird, but that's the only one, and I know everybody. When you're in this, there's you just know everybody. No one is making the stuff themselves. They buy it from a big box store, a metal manufacturer, whatever. They have subcontractors install it, and they sell you. And they hope that they can convince you to don't worry about the horse stuff. That was the last podcast. They hope that they can convince you to do that. So yeah, that's how I would handle those customers. And again, it's their words, right? So you don't want to put anything in there. But like, do you think? I wouldn't go, obviously they don't blah, blah, blah. I would go, do you think that they're making their own metal and stuff in there? Do you see like a barn in the back where they could possibly like have, 220 and 840, like whatever the big amps are to like make all these machines run? Probably not, right? So, I mean, it's cool. It's not a hit on them. No one does it. We are so few and far between. No one does it. So, yeah.
Okay, I get that. Well, it's just about not being able to
come off like a douche.
Yeah,
come off like a douche. We don't want to do that in the house. We don't want to get every sale in the worst way possible. Like, we don't want to scorched earth motherfucker. Like, we don't want to do that.
No, I get that. Well, it's even. I had a couple moments in the sales meeting the other day where it was they were saying it was the weakest employee. Hold on. The weakest link in a group is the least valuable employee.
Okay.
And I was like, no. It's a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. You know what I mean? It was just kind of let's call it like a douche move, just,
What, to correct him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
no,
I was like,
no,
what?
It was
yeah. I was like, what are you going with this? Like, yeah, to correct him. No.
Yeah, but like, I knew what I was doing, but it was a little.
Don't let them drag you into deep waters and stuff like that. If you know what you're talking about, then say that. We don't want to get caught up in any of that stuff. Like, there's a way to sell every person.
But I was also aware in the sales meeting. Like, I was aware what I was doing. You're a
goofball.
I was laying it on kind of thick.
Yeah. What's your next question? Good one. Nice.
So, do you plan to expand to other things, siding, solar, or just anything, home remodeling?
Cool. Let's talk about that. We talked about solar so much in the previous podcast, probably in the first 7 podcasts that we did, where I was hot and heavy into it. I wanted to get on the cusp of it before it got away from me. I made Zach the solar VP, which we killed off now.
So my question is, what don't you like about it? Like, why?
Sure.
Why did you end up deciding? Because I don't hate the idea, but I also don't love it.
Ooh, I want to be in it so bad. It's not fiscally responsible and not morally advisable to me right now. Okay, for a couple reasons. Okay, so I put solar on Zach's house. Okay, because it was going to be like our test house. Let's have our VP of solar have solar on his house.
I mean, it makes sense,
right?
Yeah.
So like he has our metal roof. We put solar on top of it, and through all the engineering things that we had to go through in the processes, we're like, that's our test house to figure out all the bumps and bruises you're going to take in order to get a house done. We hired licensed electricians. We tried to install some stuff ourselves. At the end of it, we went 9 months without getting to having it bear fruit. We never got to turn it on or anything like that. So after 9 months, I researched the best solar installer in all of the area. And it happened to play he's a baseball coach for Zach's, it would be his kind of stepkid or whatever. And I met this dude, awesome dude, very knowledgeable, installed, hundreds of these solar panel jobs. We are 2.5 years in now from starting that, with it still not being able to be turned on. Okay. During that process, we lost the ability to do, forget what the word is, but it's like a 1-to-1, where the electric companies would buy the extra solar power from you.
Yes.
Okay. I forget the word for that.
Is that a state thing?
It's a state thing. Ohio still has it. Indiana does not have it. People like Arizona and those people still have it. It's great. So any energy that you produce over an abundance of what you need for your own, you just sell back to the grid. We don't have that now. They can buy it for like 1/10.
And was that the major selling point? Like, hey,
well, I mean, it definitely helps when you have a monthly payment of, let's say, $300 to $500, and your bill was going to be $300 a month for solar. If you made an extra $200 a month,
and you're saying,
power,
hey, you can sell it back and break even. Okay,
and then you break even on your payment. That way, you're paying nothing for solar, right? Well, that went away. So now, if you get solar in Indiana, I would love anybody to reach out and say anything different. You can't break even. There's no break even now. There's zero. Because you can't make a system effective enough with cost effectiveness of what it costs to install it, purchase the things, get it set up, PTO, manage that power, and sell it back to the grid enough that what it would cost you to recoup the financial responsibility part, the monthly payments. If anyone's out there that's like, dude, I'm killing it. I just want to see your house. I'll pay you money to show me everything, but historically, it's not going to happen. So what you're looking at and why that happens is the finance companies. Okay, so to get solar to be equitable or at least affordable, they put you out, 25 years. Unlike we do between 5 and 10 years, somewhere in there.
Sure.
Could be more, I think, on some of ours, but like we don't go to 25 years on roofs and things like that.
Yeah.
They won't finance that, so they spread the payments way out, and it's not a terrible interest rate either. The finance companies are taking 20% off the top.
Woof.
20%. So if I sell you a $100,000 system, I have to give ABC Bank, which is not a real thing, I'm just making that up. I have to give, because they'll sue everybody who talks about this. I have to give them $20,000. Now the customer is still financially responsible for the entire $100,000. We're no strangers to bank kids. We have to pay between 1% and 10% on some deals, and so it's not a big deal. It's part of the thing. To get you a better interest rate, sometimes I have to buy down the rate, things like that. We do that all the time. Not a big deal. But when 20%, every job, across the board, could be more, but 20% every single job. Well, now, let's say that you have to have 20% profit margins. Well, now you have 40% of extra in there. Well, that's kind of inflating what you could possibly recoup on the back end. So basically, you're not going to make any money when I have to get my cost, my profit in there, the bank's profit in there. I got to buy all the stuff, install the stuff, and keep all the permits, and then try to figure out how to troubleshoot that. I don't know if anyone's ever owned computers or anything like that. Oftentimes we've all been to like the Geek Squad or something like that. You have to be that with this kind of technology. It doesn't always just work. Financially and fiscally, I can't justify charging someone $100,000 knowing that I have to make, like, let's say 20%. The bank is going to take 20%. So I have to overcharge you technically by $40,000 to break even, like to be like make a profit or whatever. That's insane. That's insane to me. So I wouldn't do that. Two, after I hired them, and it was been 2.5 years now, putting on Zach's roof the moment we put the first screw in now, and it's not working. Not even the best installer, okay, which I'm not claiming to be the best solar installer or anything like that. Now they can't even get it to work. Through engineering plans have to be redrawn. It was making too much power, and so the power company did not want all that power coming to the grid. Yada, 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 yada. It's not, the technology is not there yet. For all you green people, I hope it becomes that. And I think that it would be awesome to have an electric fucking car and have it charged by the motherfucking sun. I think that's tight. It's financially, though, it does not make sense. Buy a house, okay? Someone has already installed solar. That's how you're going to be okay on solar. Let them take this financial burden. You know, I try to do on my house. Now, commercially, it might make sense. You know, on these big flatter roofs and things like that, Costco's, Kroger's, things like that. I think that mass thing might be able to generate enough power to make it worth it and be simple enough for it to work and people that can pay cash. I think that's probably a viable thing. I'm not going to do it anytime soon. But I think that might be the only viable part of that. So all the licensure, all the stuff that we went through, wasted. All the classes I sent him to, all that stuff, wasted. But we learned some stuff. I had to take a $30,000 haircut, put it on his house. But he's still, they're just decorative at this point. They do not work. They won't allow us to flip the switch to make them work.
That hurts.
So like when you tell me where you want to go, it's like, all right, there's different places that we can go. That's not a viable thing for me to go. So then you say siding, okay, which was your other example. Siding's cool. I'd love to do siding. Siding's pretty easy.
I was just thinking generic home exterior stuff, like, you know, roof, siding, windows.
Siding's cool.
Gutters, you know.
Siding's easy, right? Like gutters, they're pretty easy. Once you find out how to put on 20 gutter jobs, you're gutter master. You know, I mean, there's really, you're not going to run into too much stuff that's like baffles you. Okay. Same thing with siding. If you can do siding, once you get about 20 to 40 jobs done, you're a master at siding because it's just, you know, same thing over and over again. The problem with siding is that it takes too much time.
Labor intensive.
It's very labor intensive, like all things, but the timing and the square footage that you're covering is not enough to slow us down on a project that, and this is more business than it is retail, things like that for what you're concerned about. I can get my money back in about 60 days on every job. I can get it done, I can get paid, and that's in the bank account. When you start to add in other stuff, windows, gutters, blah, 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 it makes it longer. Same thing with siding. Siding manufacturers are historically slow and historically not stocking every single trim piece at every single location all across the world. And so if a customer wants a certain cherry red or a brownstone brown or whatever the fuck they're looking for, you can't possibly source all that stuff fast enough and then take 5 to 12 days of installing siding. So we won't do siding because as a business practice, the labor and the turnaround time wouldn't make financial sense for us right now. It's something that we could definitely do. I've done it before. We've had houses that have been converted into, our barns have been converted into houses where we'll put our metal siding and stuff on, and that's been fine. But when you go to the vinyl siding, it's not great. Then when it cracks, inevitably, even vinyl, anything but like the hardy board and everything like that they use, you have to keep that stuff. Those suppliers change all the time. The colors change, the runs change. They're not making, they might make Alamo white, siding, 365 days a year, but they're not making turquoise brown siding every day. So it might not be in stock. So if and when a tree falls or someone's backs into your house or something crazy happens and they have to get more siding done, I'm not going to have that on stock. And it is going to be a nightmare to source that stuff and then make it match, because it fades like crazy. I know that you guys have seen houses, 15, 20, 30 years old with siding, and you're like, what even color is that? It just looks like chalk at that point. So I just can't, I don't believe in the product. There's got to be a better way to do siding. I haven't done a lot of research into it, but that can't be a viable thing. So when you ask me where do we go next, commercial is probably the next way. 2 ways we go commercial. 1, we supply the metal to a bunch of different entities that
being the supplier,
and then 2, doing big box stores and doing strip malls and doing that stuff.
I am the connect.
Yeah. Oh. I'm doing that. I'm the plug. And so that's where it's probably going to go next, after we absolutely be studs, which we're not. We're not Michael Jordan. When we get to the Michael Jordan stage of being like, we've accomplished everything we want to accomplish in the residential roofing market, and that's pretty much on autopilot now. We've ironed out every possible scenario, and we just it's so automatic. We'll then go look for different difficulties and stuff. And I think commercial, it's funny that we just talked about it today, of commercial insurance and stuff. So going into that, and then
question number 7,
and then commercial insurance, we just talked about today, and then being able to sell to other people, and what's the tax implications for us, since we make it ourselves, it's kind of giving it away sort of deal. So I don't know, when we go sell to other people, if we have to track everything now and blah, blah, blah. So that is where we will probably go in the next couple years. It might be that we just grow residentially. We might have an office. We have an office in Indy right now. We might go further into Bloomington, Evansville, kind of that area. We might go into Ohio and then have an office there, and then spread out. We might start another factory somewhere and do. Not quite sure, but if I would put an estimation on the next thing, it would either be going commercial and doing commercial projects, bidding on those, and or selling to third party. I've already been reached out by a lot of companies that do building projects, whether they make mobile office trailers, or they maybe build prefab stuff or whatever, and they want 1 million linear feet of one color. And I'm like, could I even do that? Could I even go to the bank and be like, hey, I need $4 million worth of money to go buy this steel. I'm going to run the crap out of my machines, okay? What happens when you run machines hard? They break.
Oh, I thought they
in order to make
hard.
less less margins, but I can make another $800,000 a year. I have to buy $4.5 million of metal to make fucking $500,000 on a $5 million order of linear feet. I said no.
So would there ever be a conflict of interest in, so you're manufacturing your own metal, you sell it to another place, they tell me the place, yesterday they got a quote from, I'm here today because they're shopping around, people do that, I know their metal is coming from our warehouse. Would that be a conflict of interest, or would that have been legally worked out beforehand, where I can't just instantly be like, look, you will get a significantly better deal from us because we're literally selling them the product. We can do it cheaper because we're doing it in-house. Is that, you know what I mean? Wanting to just be like,
so
get it from the source, get it from the plug.
Yeah. That's a fun.
You're being side hustled, use us.
So I would go for a Best Buy model, right? LG, Sony, Samsung, blah, blah, blah. They all sell through Best Buy. Also, they also sold in Home Depots, Lowe's, Menards, things like that. You can go anywhere to get that things. They all come from one supplier, and they all don't get to go, we're going to sell it for this. What are you guys going to sell it for? Blah, blah, blah. It would just be, I hope you sell it for whatever. Good for you. Okay? Maybe you're offering a better service than I am. That's on you. It would be laughable if we were more expensive at some point than the people that we were selling it to, because they just like how we are lower now than everybody is because we don't have to pay another 20% of profit margin buying our metal from a third party, right? I'm not making any money on the metal. I'm just rolling it. We make the money on selling the roofs and doing more roofs.
My biggest roofing fail that I didn't close them on spot was they got a couple shingle quotes, and I'm just going to throw out generic numbers.
Sure.
But the shingle quotes were, let's just say, like 25,000, and we were 23. So I thought, let's get signed up. Like, what are we doing? You know, and they didn't sign that day, and I feel like me not forcing them to sign was doing them a disservice. Like, you're going a shingle over metal, and we're cheap for a lifetime warranty that I know they can't do because it's a shingle.
Oh, they can do it. They can promise them wherever.
I mean,
they can promise.
They can
whatever.
Try, but a shingle just isn't going to last forever. It just isn't.
You got to keep in mind they could have just not been ready. They may not look the likeness of the metal. Like they don't. Maybe metal's not for everybody. They don't like it. I wouldn't put metal in my parents' house. Like, it has terracotta shingles. It would look fucking stupid if I put metal on their house. Their house is beautiful the way it is. Okay, it's not for everybody. Some people are shoppers. Some people know that they can't afford their let's say it's $23,000. They want to pay cash. They don't have it.
I thought it was a slam dunk. I was like,
they didn't have it at $25,000. They didn't have it at $23,000 for metal.
Sure.
Okay, they didn't have it. Part of the game. But hopefully that you would have following up with those people. You will learn more by following up with those people on what happened and why they didn't go with you to help you way further in the future. I always did that when I was slow.
They haven't answered back.
That's fine.
I've left messages.
Show up. Show up.
I'm actually not opposed to that.
Show up.
It's aggressive, but you know what?
No, it's not aggressive. Don't be aggressive. Don't be aggressive.
Showing up is aggressive.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Baloney. That's crazy. If you show up at someone's house,
if I show up to your house, you're feeling like I'm being aggressive.
You're my boss. That's different.
Be a boss then. I guess
I'm gonna open the door and be like, "Oh, would you like some tea? Yeah. Oh, I'm just making some steaks right now. Are you hungry?
If you left a good taste in their mouth, they should be super happy that you show back up again. They should be super happy. Not everyone. Lots of people that I left their houses and didn't sell them, and I see them out or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. They almost shy away because they're like, "Oh man, I didn't buy from that dude. I feel so bad." Blah blah. And I will still go up and be like, "What's up, the Jonathans? What's going on? Like, did you guys get it? Oh no, we're just still shopping. That's cool, man. Like, you treat me like a JDEX girlfriend. You don't return my phone calls. You don't respond to my emails. What's good? Did I do something to offend you guys?
I Facebooked you, Twittered, Google.
Yeah, I Facebook stalked you. I MySpaced you. Yeah. No, I mean, like, there's a right and wrong way to do it. I would show up and show that you care. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not just about the budget, if you show them that you care more than it's just how much work we're going to put. We're not going to show up 7 days a week. Can I mow your grass? Can I whatever to sell a deal, but you show them that you care, and they'll go a long way. So I would show up. You'll learn more about what happens. Like if they actually do buy from, that would be more interesting if they bought from that person rather than you, and to learn what you said or did or what you didn't make them understand or believe what you were saying will teach you way more going forward and make you way more money. I think. I never really ran into that. People that I didn't sell, they just didn't get it. They didn't got it. So
sure,
it's up to them at the end of the day. You've been hitting some fucking banger questions.
Just 8 I wrote down in the office when I was working on my rebuttals.
Give me something else.
So I'll go to the last question.
Ooh.
Could you see yourself doing anything else?
Yes, tons of stuff.
Like what?
I've always had an affinity for anything customer service or creating an experience for people. So that's a lot of hospitality stuff. That's what I did a lot of times growing up. I had a lot of hospitality jobs. Back of the house, front of house, things like that. I've been a chef. I've washed dishes before. I've been catering company. I've been wait staff. I've been a maitre d'. I've been all sorts of shit. So it's like
So you're talking about like a Burning Man type experience where it's like music, people dancing, I'm actually, or like a restaurant?
Restaurant, hospitality, hotels, lodging, customer experience stuff. I would like to transition after this runs its full to fruition, whatever I can take this to, take it to. I would like to either have a very, very small restaurant in town. Like I'm talking only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I have
set
ideas.
menus, blah, blah, and do it differently than everyone else is doing. Even if it was a loss, I would want to do it out of passion. One of those deals. Like
sure.
I can have this restaurant operate for 10 years. I have so much fucking money that I just want to create an experience that people could take anniversaries, birthdays, make a special experience for those people. And I've seen a lot of things over the years that have been like, well, that'd be really cool. From taking notes at the stand on like, you know, how many kids they have and what their names are and their birthdays and, you know, when's their anniversary and blah, blah, first and last names, how long they've been married. From the moment they walk in, creating that experience of like, hey, Susan, anniversary next month, nice, blah, blah. You know, like creating an experience for customers and then offering next level experiences with food, taking them out of the current Midwestern market that we're in right now with it's pretty much all beef, and like consistency is the key, rather be something like a reach, you know, and then if that didn't it's the scratch that I would have in the hospitality game, I think and this also goes into like why I do like the Christmas party, how we're gonna go. Like the Christmas party is insane. We have a full band here in the next, I don't know when this will come out. It could come out in Christmas time. But during Christmas party, we have a full band. I spent, I don't know what it is, more than 5 figures on the food. I mean, I spent a crap ton of money on the food. We're having wild boar flown in from Canada. You know, I want to create an experience that you could not get anywhere else than if you worked at Perfect Steel. And that's what makes me very happy. Okay, casino coming in. We have cigars, beer, and wine provided by a local, distillery, local cigar shop, to create that full ambiance and to create that experience that you could go and bring your wife, girlfriend, significant other. I got people bringing their moms and dads in and things like that to go like, I can only get this here. And that's a very cool, you know, we spend money all the time. We spend money on shoes. We spend money on, cigarettes, gas, blah, blah, blah. Like they're all just things that we use and they're done and we don't think about them. You don't think about shoes 7 pairs ago or anything like that. Even if you really liked them at the time, you don't think about it. You think about memories and stuff like that and experience that you had like, oh, this one time my boss, he was crazy. And he literally got a whole band and blah, blah, blah. We danced all night. I won so many things, prizes, blah, blah. You know, we got wine drunk and I fell in love and blah, and like that kind of stuff lasts forever. And that's what I really am passionate about other than helping people and having everybody succeed. That's another passion of mine. So if that didn't scratch the itch, then my parents have bought some property in Georgia, and I think that retiring looks to me like, around 50 or something like that. Looks to me like having a lodge up there in the mountains and in northern Georgia, taking people on trout fishing expeditions, four-wheeling, fine dining, fine lodging, food stuff that would be incredible. We'd flown in tuna from Japan or China or wherever in the foreign oceans, and doing that kind of stuff that would really create an experience for people that would pay, like the people that are insane that would pay like $3,000 a night for an experience like that.
Sure.
But because like it seems like an exorbitant amount of money, but if like you think about that every day for the rest of your life,
what does that memory cost?
Now what's it worth? Because we all bought probably $3,000 worth of shoes so far, but you can't remember what shoes you wore, 5 years ago, But like if you can remember one pair that was just like unbelievably and it made a difference and blah blah, and that's what I like. I like creating memories, and like that's important for me. And I like that the progression of like this stuff, like roofing is cool because everyone here I've got to see progress through their lives. When I hired Daigle, who's been on the podcast before, hopefully his wife Sierra will be in there. At the time when I hired them, I only hired Sierra to be my office lady. They were dating. Okay. Eventually, I hired the husband, which is Chris, I played rugby with. Okay. He came on, was a salesperson. Cool. He's my operations manager now. Mm-hmm. Cool. They got married. Cool. They had a kid. Cool. They had another kid. Cool. They got a big house. Cool. And I feel like I'm a part of that.
He owns you a per diem or something for like setting that up. There has to be like
something. But like that's cool. I'm a part of that. And hopefully through your evolution of being here and stuff like that, I get to see you go from the first house to a condo to a timeshare, blah, blah, to going on vacation with your son and all these other things that like that mean more than just can I pay the bills? Can I get by? Can I buy nice things? Can I shop at Fresh Market or not? Like all those things that really don't matter every day. I feel like even though you guys don't give me credit for it all the time, I feel like I'm a part of that, and that makes me feel good.
Okay.
I don't ever think that they couldn't do without me. Not egotistically like that, but it's cool for me to be somewhat of a part of it.
There's still a branch chain of leadership that it needs to fall back on a certain type of backbone. I think if anyone was, let's just say, thrust in the position you are currently at now, could they maintain operations the same way you do? And I would say for a lot of people, probably not. I really don't. You know what I mean? It's like, could some? Sure. But could most? No. Yeah, you have to like know your positioning, know your worth, know what you bring to the table.
Maybe not me, what I bring to the table and stuff. I know what everyone can bring to the table. And then generally foster that into a productive kind of thing, finding out what they can do and things like that. When I hired Sierra, she was $12 a fucking hour or something like that. Now she's one of the most highly compensated people at Perfect Steel, running the entire operations from payroll to office girls management, all that other stuff. So it's like, it's cool to see that, maybe she didn't know, she thought she was going to school for fucking wedding planning or something like that. And it just changed.
Sure.
And I like that I got to be a part of that evolution of her character and things like that. She won't come on. Can we get some people saying like, please have Sierra on? Because we've talked about her like, I don't know, 50% of the podcast probably.
What's her beef?
She didn't think like this back and forth would be comfortable.
I get that.
She's not a touch person. No hugs, no nothing. She's not a touch person.
I've never met her.
You never met her, Sierra?
Well, I've seen her.
She's been on maternity leave.
Prontoed her. You know what I mean? Like, hey, is this?
Yeah.
But like, me and her have never had a face-to-face conversation.
Well, in 10 days, you definitely will, because be at the Christmas party.
Okay, which me and my future fiance.
Let's go.
I told her about it. We are both very on board on having a pleasant night.
Yeah, let's go.
So we got everything set up. We both don't have the kids for the weekend, so we're,
it'll be worth it. I promise you.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Memories will be made that night. It's a very not commercial roofing facility thing to do. Like it's a very I definitely lose money, and no matter how much the morale changes, I definitely lose money on this every year. But I love Christmas. I fucking love Christmas, and I love making people happy. I love giving back, and after a long year of grinding, it's just fun to see, people coming in here, not having to work and having a good time and things like that. So there's always fun stuff that happens during the thing. Yeah. And I will say, like, I talked to my dad, and I'll put him on blast because he's basically sold out of his company, so I really don't care. But every year he has his Christmas party every year, and he's got 150 plus people. But every year the cops get called. Okay,
for being too awesome.
No, they get called because fights. They get called because
that's like lame reasons,
drunken disorderly things like that.
I don't know.
At Perfect Still, we've never had any problems. My people are so respectful and so help me clean up afterward. Like it's crazy. Like it's nuts. Like it's a wonderful night. And no matter if you go home with a flat screen TV or an Xbox or whatever, like people have a great time.
Well, because I've never been there, I will evaluate that statement after.
He'll come back on.
After we come.
He'll come back on and then tell us exactly what he thinks of my Christmas party. I guarantee you, we'll fight if you don't think it's the greatest Christmas party you've ever been to ever.
Challenge accepted.
There's just no way. I'm so very vastly confident in it that it has to be. And it is because I enjoy it. You're always better at the things that you enjoy,
Fair enough.
You're always going to put more things into that stuff, whether it's, gaming stuff or whatever. You're just going to be better at that because you care about it way more.
I mean, I personally know about myself whenever I get drunk around a group of dudes or people, typically an arm wrestling competition breaks out, something with like a foot race. It's all like hyper masculine, like, oh, you think you can take me? We're going to chug. I'll see how fast I can chug this. And you're just like, oh no, it's, it's very macho machismo type.
This, because I think everyone has their wives and girlfriends and brothers, sisters and moms and dads here. It doesn't get like that. It doesn't get like that. They have a fun. I've never had live music before, so that'll be interesting.
It jazzes people up.
If it gets the people going, we'll see. The dude seems pretty chill, but we'll see.
What's the band name? Or
Adam Streck Band. He's a local dude here. Pretty cool dude. I won his services. I paid handsomely for a charitable organization auction. To get him, and then I was like, I'll just use it for the party. Be done. So.
What does he do? Is he a group of people? They all do brass. He's a solo singer, but just really good.
He's a solo guy, but then he has people that he plays with, and like he'll play everything from Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran to Garth Brooks to AC/DC to Kool in the Gang. It doesn't matter. Like he'll play if it can be played on the guitar, then he'll play, and he's just real chill. He doesn't have a electric voice or anything like that, any like life-changing voice, but it's so mellow. He can sing everything. Just right in that middle key where he can just play everything. It's real enjoyable for him to listen to. And he's really excited about doing an event of this caliber. We'll probably be live streaming that on the Facebook even. So will be fun to see.
On the Facebooks, we'll be live streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm confident. Like people are real respectful during that. Now, I have learned in previous years how to do things better so that way it runs smoother. I have them pre-drawing all the raffle things so we don't have to wait 2 hours for people to draw 30 fucking prizes and things like that. It's pretty good. 5 to 9, it's cool. Then hopefully at 10 year, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, let me know. At 10 year, we do a festival. Okay, got about 5-7 acres here. Okay, I get the carnival people to come, Ferris wheels, bumper cars, the whole lot. The games, blah blah. I get a stage. I get 3 bands, big bands to come, or solo people. I don't care, whatever. But 3 that like they're famous.
Legit, sure.
And I offer this to all the, not only the employees, obviously, but all of the customers. Only way you can get in. I fence off the entire property, and the only way you can get in is if you've been a previous customer.
I don't say this about many things. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
10 years. We'll have about 5 to 10,000 customers. It would be sick. They're not all going to come, but like it would be sick to offer that.
I give a hard yes. That's
why I'm thinking, man. Anything else you want to say before we sign off? You got more questions on here?
Well, you already answered number 7. No, because a couple of them are just like, where do you see Perfect Still going in the next 5 years? Additional locations, additional states.
We kind of talked about that too.
Yeah, which we kind of like loosely, you know what I mean? Is there anything you would like to see in operation, sales, marketing, or installing that you're striving for that we currently are not doing?
Yeah, no, okay. We can talk about that for 1 second. Probably end on this question because people are going to get bored at some point. We can still talk after this. I hired this COO for a reason. He was going to be a CFO. He's going to be a COO. There's a lot of things in every department that we don't do 100%. We do really well. We pass everything. From the moment that someone knocks on your door to get a lead, to the moment that you're called and verifying that lead, to the moment the salespeople show up, to the moment that the measuring guy shows up, and then the factory people install or make it in-house, and then we deliver it to the installers coming out, installing it, to the end of where we're finalizing the bill and doing all that kind of stuff, to the point where we're sending out warranties and thanking them for their business. We do passing on all those things, but they always be better. And I think that's where the bread and butter is in that finished part. You know, there's a reason why people pay, let's say $250 for a chair in their living room, and there's a reason why people will pay $1,000 for a chair in the living room. And I think that comes down to detail. I think that comes down to presence, timetables. I think that comes down to interactions. All those things are minor things that can be tweaked to take it to the next level. So from the beginning, giving the people that go and look for houses more tools and more information to do their job better. Then when the confirmers come in there, to be more of a personal experience where they get to know the people before we go out there, even instead of being like a robotic phone call. A lot of our phone calls we verified to make sure that you guys want us to come out and all the other stuff. We ask them several questions. It seems more like a questionnaire than it is like a conversation, changing that part. And then when it comes time to go do the sales appointment, okay, to be less closing model and more like the doctor of roofing, and have more tools in our basket that we can show that not only do we think that you should do a roof with us. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be in business if we didn't want to do roofs. But to show in real time with video, pictures, explanations, with actual tools, that it needs to be done now rather than later, and show the deterioration, how much time they have left, and then not go to a closing model, but more of a, you know, we can do this now, we can do this later, but this is what it costs later, this is what it costs to do now. Then when it comes time to do the making of the metal, to be way more, when we get more jobs, we're obviously more proficient in the factory, that'll increase. Then when we go to installing, the level of detail to like having expectations of how long a roof should take be done, in the communication with the customer on that can be better. We just say we're going to be out there between 7 and 14 days. We call, we're like, hey, we're going to be out tomorrow. We don't tell you how long it's going to take. We don't tell you how long. We don't know most of the time. We just go like, it's going to get done. It's going to be perfect. We just don't know to get more precise with all that stuff. And then when it comes down to the billing and the customer service, do more. I think there has to be a reason why any phone customer service thing that you do has a rating scale. Whether you go get a surgery at a hospital, or you do a banking phone call and call a credit card about a problem or whatever, or you call Comcast, any of those things, what do they say at the end of that phone call? If you're willing and able, blah, blah, blah. After this beep,
personally,
would you like to take a personal survey? This helps, blah, 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 ensure customer quality insurance, blah, blah, blah. There must be a reason they're doing that. And I think that is going to be an integral part of learning stuff in real time rather than waiting years at a time to learn what the weak parts are. When you can go, hey, 1 through 5, what would you say the marketer, what do you think of them? 1 through 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. What do you think the salesperson, did he answer all the questions? 1, yes or no, blah, blah. 1 to 5, do you think that you got a fair market equity on the roof price, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff going, so that way we know and we can change and explain and in real time.
That's ironically what I was doing in the office when I was writing down my rebuttals when someone says, hey, I'm going to get 3 quotes. So that I break it down, and then I give them typically the 3 most common objections or reasons why they're doing that, and then I have them give me a rating system on all 3 so I can see where my weak points was in the presentation. And that's something I'm going to start doing in-house, just to be like, well, was it something about the product you didn't like, something about was there something about me you didn't like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they'll probably have a tell of what they didn't like, and they'll divulge, and then they give 10, 10, 7. Well, now this is what we're going to focus on. Hey, what did I not explain or give? You know what I mean? I get it,
Yeah, like so. Well, William Will Benson.
Austin Thane.
It's been fun. Like I say at the end of every podcast, go out, like, share, subscribe. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We're on everything. Go out there, reach out to us, ask us questions. We'll talk about anything on the topics. Today was very centric on the roofing sales or the perfect steel thing, which has been not a huge focus, so it probably feels a little bit fresh. We haven't dove into it a whole bunch. But if there's anybody that you would like to have see on, if there's anything, questions that we would like to handle and things, if you have any questions, concerns, I'd like to bring that up in future podcasts. If you just like to rag on me and just say how fat and weird I am, that's fine. Put it on there. It'll help other people find this podcast and appreciate what we're doing. And if it helps a couple people a month, I'm down for it. We're going to keep doing this for at least another year. Will, it's been a pleasure, buddy, and I already like you and stuff.
Thanks for having me on.
You're a goofy dude, but I really enjoy you being here, and I really value you as a person and an employee, and I hope you do great things next year. You didn't get a huge run in it this year before it slowed down, but I really look forward to seeing what you can accomplish next year.
Strong like bull.
Thanks, guys.
Please remain